Anyone else remember the Kirby Planet Robobot no jumping challenge, and how annoying those Robobot sections were? Well, I've got an idea. How about we take that nonsense into Star Allies by attempting a guest star no jump challenge where one of the character's main moves is getting into a mech? Well, that's right, it's time to answer the long-awaited question, is it possible to beat Kirby Star Allies guest star Susie without jumping? As for rules, I mean, come on guys, it's another guest star no jump challenge. It's the same rules as last time, no jumping / hovering, and these rules apply only to ourselves, not our AI companions. Alright, with that cleared up, let's look into this first section of the playthrough, which is a very nice homage to the opening level of Kirby Planet Robobot. That of course means it starts with a very simple descent, but that of course can't last forever, and before we know it, we stand before the first obstacle we must find a way to get over. Well, with adversity deciding to strike now, I don't think we have much choice other than to take a gander at what moveset Susie offers us. The only obvious jump replacement Susie has is the charge. As one might expect, this move charges Susie forward quite quickly. It also can yield her a slight bit of gain of altitude. As such, it serves as an effective method for crossing small to medium gaps. It unfortunately doesn't present us with much verticality, however, and actually as far as I can tell, none of Susie's standard moves are able to get us the height we'll be needing for this challenge. As it turns out, seeking higher elevation is serious business. Meaning, we need to use Susie's business suit to make that happen. Although even the business suit doesn't seem to have an obvious answer to the height question. That's because the move we're interested in isn't one you were probably expecting. The move in question is the dismount from it. You see, if you press a trigger while in the business suit, Susie gets out of it immediately and the suit itself just kind of disappears. Susie herself, though, remains at the level of the cockpit, and even actually gets a little height boost when dismounting as well. And with that, we do technically have a vertically focused jump replacement. I'll admit, it's far from the best one we've had, but it does clear this first obstacle, which is good enough for me for now. We continue through the level utilizing both of those jump replacements when applicable until we come to this wall, which neither of them has the height to get us up. At least not individually. What we can do, though, is dismount onto this nearby platform, then charge from there to our true destination. Next up, we face a giant Waddle Dee ball, which puts the next obstacles under a time limit. That's particularly problematic for Susie, since none of her jump replacements are particularly swift. Nevertheless, she is fast enough to just barely keep ahead of the ball and move on. The same, unfortunately, cannot be said about her friends, though. Oh well. The past is in the past. What matters now is clearing this next obstacle, which is this here cliff, which is slightly too high to get over with a mere dismount, and this time there's no second slightly lower platform to bail us out. It's just Susie, this Wester, and the cliff. Well, it's a good thing Susie can fly then, right? Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, apparently Susie does actually have access to infinite flights. The reason being, there's apparently nothing stopping you from entering a new business suit right after dismounting from your previous one. This allows you to just keep on gaining height so long as you don't mess up any of the button presses. But hey, that's just what I call video games. In any case, this tactic makes that obstacle and the next few absolutely trivial. All goes quite well until our meeting with a very important enemy, a Broom Hatter. This custodian is especially relevant to us for one reason. It holds within it the elemental powers of air, thus allowing us to access the improved moveset of Bluster Susie. The most impactful change here over the default moveset belongs to the business suit's move, Spin Cycle, turning what was once a completely grounded move into our own personal helicopter. Needless to say, things should get a bit easier from here on out. And the game is certainly not hesitant to give us a demonstration of just how good we have it now in the form of this shaft. Without bluster, I do think we could probably manage to get up via major use of the dismounting method, but that would likely be a tedious and extremely precise task. Whereas, with the new and improved spin cycle, it's unbelievably easy. Man, taken out of context, it kinda sounds like I'm just trying to sell you all on a washing machine, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not, of course. That's not to say I'm against washing machines or anything, though. I mean, seriously, guys, do wash your clothes, for your own sake, and the sake of those around you. Okay, with the PSA out of the way, back to Kirby. That ease mentioned earlier carries all the way to and through the Wispy Woods, King DDD, and Meta Knight fights. We then carry ourselves through much of the Gem Bastion without much incident, thanks mainly to, again, the Spin Cycle Bluster Edition. We do hit a bit of a speed bump though in the form of this electric saw blade section. I imagine the typical idea here would be that the player would take on some H2O elemental powers to short-circuit the blades, thus clearing a path before traversing through towards their true destination. Of course, that methodology isn't as easily available to us, since Splash Susie isn't nearly as capable of the platforming feats we require in this section as Bluster Susie is. Ultimately, the solution here ended up being to make peace with the fact that you are going to get hit by the saws, and instead of trying to squeeze past and avoid them, to just run up to and embrace them like it's 2019. So in short, don't fear the saws. Accept that you're in their territory, and if you want to utilize their real estate, you'll have to pay their toll. In blood. Or I guess technically it's health, but a toll of health didn't sound nearly as overly dramatic. That being said, it's not as if I'm hydrophobic. There are areas in the saw section that feature much smaller and fewer gaps, and in those areas, of course, I'm willing to whip out the water gun. In any case, we do make it past here and end up using even more water against Zan Partizan. It's then not long before we run into these Waddle-Dee balls again. Unfortunately, Bluster Susie doesn't get any sort of speed boost as compared to regular Susie, so outrunning these things likely won't be any easier than before. So let's not then. There we go. Easy. We fight some local trees and then are thrust into the water. Water's always a bit nerve-wracking in these challenges because, quite frankly, you don't really know if you can get out until after you've gotten in. Luckily for us, though, the dismount method works wonders for exiting these seas. Another excellent water-based thing, fighting Franziska as Blizzard Susie. Moving on. Before we know it, we're in the 5th level, and nearly dying to sheer negligence. Luckily, the dismount method of elevation gain can really work well in a pinch. In other news, we absolutely tear our way through all of the kill all the enemies on screen sections before coming across a 19-jump friend circle section. Oh well, can't be helped. Then, as a final test of our jumpless platforming skills, we're faced with this section. It features loads of empty gaps, and what isn't a bottomless pit is some source of damage. Luckily, our previous training in such a hostile area has prepared our skills of acceptance, and as such, we're more than prepared to do what it takes to get through here. That means actions like just flat out using spikes as legitimate platforms. And with that behind us, we now come face to face with the final bosses, which of course are not run-ending hurdles, which means, if you discount the friend circle jumps, it is possible to beat Kirby Star Allies guest star Susie without jumping. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and comment to show your support, and do make sure you keep an eye on this channel in the near future, as if all pans out, we should have some interesting new Kirby No Jump content pretty soon. Until then, keep enjoying this channel, and hey, if Let's Plays are acceptable to your viewing palette, you may want to consider checking out my new Super Mario 64 Let's Play on my Let's Play channel. Anyways guys, until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, ready to work on another video for you all to check out. Goodbye.